Company dinner. Everyone has the right to order dishes. When it was my turn, the new intern Wang Ling snatched the menu. Enough dishes. No need to order more. I ignored him, turned to the waiter and said I want zu mian douxiang. But Wang Ling slammed the menu into my face, glaring at me furiously. I said no ordering means no ordering. You really think you're someone special? A red mark was scratched on my face. It stung sharply. My anger surged up too. I grabbed the menu and unceremoniously hit him back in the face. He immediately screamed and roared, "Do you know who my mother is? She is Wang Nan, the company's biggest client. Even the boss has to be polite to me. How dare you hit me? I'll have your sales championship revoked and have the whole industry blacklist you." I was stunned. My aunt Wang Nan has been single for 40 years. When did she have such a big son? I was dumbfounded. Wang Ling became even more arrogant. What's wrong? Scared? You're just a pretty boy moocher who gets results with your face. Having you at the party already pollutes the air. And you still want to order. Get results with your face? I work from dawn till night on proposals. Spend 8 hours a day eating dust on construction sites. Even my mom wouldn't recognize me from the tan. And he says I rely on my face. I moved my chair back, stood up and looked him straight in the eye. Watch your mouth. I get results through ability. Everyone knows I'm capable. You have no right to say that. It's a company dinner, not your treat. If I'm not worthy to order, you're even less worthy. When I first walked in I smelled a stink. Turns out it was your bad breath. The colleagues all snickered. They were long fed up with Wang Ling's arrogance. He's been an intern at the company for a month, treating colleagues like servants. The new employee Lin Ji didn't get him coffee, so he poured a whole cup of coffee over Lin Ji's head. Lin Ji's scalp was burned and blistered. He not only refused to apologize, but threatened, "If you dare make me apologize, I'll have you kicked out of the company." In the end the company paid the medical bills. I wanted to stand up for him then, but my colleagues held me back. I was wondering why they all dared not speak. Turns out they were scared by his title of Wang Nan's son. Wang Ling's face turned red with rage. Pointing at my nose, he yelled, "Jiang Chen, don't get clever with me. Without my mother's support, this company will go bankrupt. Let me tell you, today's dinner is my call. If I say you can't order, you can't order. Who do you think you are, to go against me? If you dare order one dish, I'll have you fired tomorrow." The waiter heard this and looked at me awkwardly. "Sir, you still want to order?" Without hesitation, I said, "I don't believe that. I bring the company tens of millions from a single project. I deserve to order a dish. What's all the noise about?" The boss Zhou Jianwu pushed the door open. With an ugly look on his face, "Company dinner is not for you to quarrel. What's going on?" Wang Ling didn't give anyone a chance to explain, and twisted the facts with a grievance. Before I could speak, Boss Zhou glared at me sternly. "Jiang Chen, you're a veteran employee. Don't you know that diligence and frugality is the company's motto? Wang Ling did this to save the company one dish. It won't starve you. And you started a fight that's even worse. Apologize to Wang Ling right now, and pay 10,000 yuan in mental damages, and this matter is settled." I was furious, almost laughed, stared straight at him. "Mr. Zhou, are you sure you want me to apologize and pay?" Zhou Jianwu's expression was complicated. Lin Yi quickly tugged my sleeve, whispered and advised me, "Brother, don't be stubborn. Wang Ling is Wang Nan's son. You can't afford to mess with him. This cooperation with Jianyu, Boss Zhou is counting on him to finalize it." I couldn't help laughing. "You said his mother is Wang Nan." Just then a colleague took out her phone, opened Wang Ling's social media. Really, on his first day, Mrs. Wang personally sent him. I looked at the photo and my jaw nearly dropped. My beautiful aunt, standing in a dress in front of a luxury car, and next to her was indeed Wang Ling. Wang Ling had even captioned it, "Thank you mom for sending me to my internship in your busy schedule. I will not let you down." I immediately called my aunt, but the line was switched off. Seeing I didn't apologize, Wang Ling glared at me fiercely. "Jiang Chen, you will regret this. I will make you pay." The next day, the pay he mentioned arrived. At the commendation meeting, the sales championship and 500,000 yuan bonus, originally mine, were both given to Wang Ling. On the PPT acceptance speech, they hadn't even had time to change my name. This was blatant robbery. A fire surged in my chest. One immediately questioned, "What is the basis for deciding the sales champion?" This month my total project sales exceeded 1 billion, bringing the company tens of millions in revenue, leading the second place by 5 million in profit. And Wang Ling hasn't closed a single order. I ask all the leaders, why give my championship to Wang Ling? The venue fell silent. The finance director and sales director exchanged glances. No one dared to speak. Wang Ling looked at me arrogantly. "Of course. Your projects came through dishonorable means. The company cannot condone such low behavior. Now we only cancel your championship. If you continue using such dirty tricks to damage the company's reputation, then what awaits you is dismissal." I was shaking with anger. My eyes swept over all the leaders on the stage, those who used to praise my business skills, calling me a promising talent. Now all avoided my gaze, bowing their heads like cowards. I looked at the highest leader by Jiwei. "Is this your opinion too?" Bai Jiwei was clearly unhappy being called out in public. He frowned impatiently. Jiang Chen, the company has its considerations. Don't let this small matter affect the commendation. You need to have a broader perspective. Broader perspective, my eyes reddened, my voice trembling. Your broader perspective means me working all year without rest. Staying late until midnight every day, exhausting myself to secure projects, only to have them become someone else's achievement. Because of one baseless rumor, you erase all my contributions and remain indifferent. I ask, where is the fairness? Where is the justice? Treating an employee like this, who has made enormous contributions to the company. Don't you feel guilty? Boss Bai was speechless, but Wang Ling showed no shame, looked at me with a sneer. Fairness, he laughed contemptuously. Jiang Chen, don't be so naive. In this society, whoever has power, fairness lies with him. If you want justice, find a rich daddy to get justice for you. Short, you don't have him. He didn't hide the contempt on his face, said coldly to me, and I. The identity of Wang Nan, president of Tianyu Group's son, can keep you down forever. I stared at him, wondering where he got such confidence. Even started to doubt if my aunt really had an illegitimate child behind the family's back. Son, I suddenly said, I heard President Wang has a nephew. She treats like her own son. I wonder if you, Champion Wang, have ever met him. Wang Ling's expression froze. Then he glanced at me dismissively. That's my cousin. Of course I've met him. But he lives abroad all year, rarely comes back to China. Even I seldom see him. For lowly commoners like you, don't even dream about it. I sneered. Really, aren't you? Champion Wang, also lowly. How come you stole someone else's championship and bonus? Could it be that you're a fake young master? Wang Ling's face turned ashen. He glared at me viciously. Jiang Chen, don't be ungrateful. Your championship was taken because you're unworthy. I earned it with my own ability. Ability, I stepped forward, sneering. You mean your ability to slack off and play games at work? Take 2-hour lunch breaks and leave at 5 p.m. sharp. Or stare at the computer all day, and only produce a PPT with the word proposal. I spoke slowly, but every word was enough to embarrass him. He opened his mouth but couldn't speak. Looked at Bai Jiwei for help. Bai Jiwei's face showed a failure to live up to expectations expression. He lowered his voice. Jiang Chen, watch your language. This is a company, not a marketplace. Don't be so arrogant. Don't think that just because you've brought in a few projects, you can do whatever you want. Survival of the fittest. You have to accept being replaced by someone better. Don't make a scene. All eyes were on me, waiting to see me make a fool of myself over the 500k bonus and tear up with the company. 50k, even 5 million doesn't matter to me. I just want fairness. I wasn't angry. I didn't argue. Just smiled sarcastically. Fine. I accepted. The championship should indeed go to someone more outstanding. Just as I returned to my seat, HR sent to appointment messages. Employee Jiang Chen used company funds for lavish eating and drinking, seriously violating company rules. Therefore, relieved of his position as sales manager, suspended for reflection, intern Wang Ling courageously defended company interests, performed excellently during internship, and created huge profits for the company. Hereby promoted immediately to replace Jiang Chen as sales manager, taking over subsequent projects. Then boss by at me in the group. Jiang Chen, wasteful, ignoring company rules. This month's bonus deducted. Write a 10,000-word self-criticism and post it in the group. Other employees take warning. Too much. They stripped me of my championship, deducted my bonus, set me up as a negative example, pushed me onto a public pyre, using my humiliation to build his authority. The group went silent. Even the office fell dead quiet. All eyes glanced at me furtively. Some sympathetic, some regretful, some indignant, some gloating. The message stayed there motionless, as if everyone was waiting for me to humbly admit my mistake in the group. Boss by at me again. Can't you see it? I still didn't reply. He kept at me obsessively, like crazy. Liu Tingting sent me a WeChat message. Brother Lin, don't argue. Just give in. Work is what matters. I smiled at him, smiling until tears came. My shaking finger tapped on the phone. Tremblingly replied, received, boss. I will remember the lesson. I will definitely not order a 40 yuan dish again for lavish eating, waste and extravagance. Next company dinner, I'll drink water and not eat. This seemingly apologetic message was like a drop of water into hot oil. Calm on the surface, but actually it cast an employee's disappointment in the company. I immediately logged out of all company software. Seriously took my suspension for reflection. Boss Bai, following his own principle of not in position, not in charge, moved me to a cubicle by the restroom, forced to bear the daily glances of passing colleagues, either contempt or pity. Wang Ling smugly sat in my old seat, bossing around department employees. But my position wasn't easy to take over. I had personally handled every project before, from design to production. I knew every detail. But Wang Ling knew nothing. After a few days, over a dozen clients complained, demanding that I take over again. Otherwise, they would cancel the cooperation. The company would face huge compensation. Finally, boss Bai couldn't handle it. He condescended to come to my cubicle. Jiang Chen, These projects were yours. Now there are technical issues. Go coordinate and make sure the client is satisfied. I lifted my head lazily, looking confused. Boss Bai, you must have the wrong person. I'm on suspension for reflection. Bai Jiwei clicked his tongue. His tone harsh. Suspension for reflection doesn't mean stop work. Company rule, one person handles from start to finish. Your project, you are responsible to the end. I spread my hands, but I've had all my permissions revoked. I can't follow up. His expression froze. Anger burning in his eyes. Suspension for reflection doesn't mean you're fired. Why did you revoke your account? Apply for a new one immediately. I looked at him. Calmly, you said it yourself. Not in position, not in charge. I'm just following the boss's orders. Boss Bai's face couldn't save face, but he bore with it. All right. I'll restore your position now. Contact the clients immediately. Don't let them terminate cooperation. I smiled. Boss Bai, shouldn't you be asking the more outstanding champion Wang for this kind of thing? I'm just a pretty boy who gets results with his face. I don't have that ability. His face turned purple like pig's liver. Suppressing anger. Jiang Chen, that was just a joke among colleagues. You take it seriously. I still smiled, but there was frost in it. Then was my championship being cancelled. Losing 5-0 OK bonus also a joke. A 40 yuan dish being judged as lavish eating and drinking. Waste and extravagance, also a joke. These words were like slaps, hitting his face precisely. His face turned from red to white to green. He was silent. I knew he was struggling within himself. After all, admitting defeat and apologizing wasn't suitable for the big boss. Just then, Wang Ling ran over excitedly. Boss Bai, Tianyu agreed to inject capital. Boss Bai's face immediately lit up with a victory smile. Great, Wang Ling, you're the company's lucky star. With Tianyu as our backing, those clients will beg to cooperate with us. He turned and shot me a vicious look. Jiang Chen, you're fired. Go process the paperwork now. I nodded calmly. Fine. I demand the company give me compensation as per the rules. He roared in fury. You still want compensation? You caused huge losses to the company. You'd better wait for the company to see you. Wang Ling glared at me maliciously. Jiang Chen, I'll have you blacklisted from the entire industry. I smiled faintly. Fine, I'll wait. Silently I packed my things. Walked out of this company where I had fought for a year. I poured all my passion and wisdom into this company without relying on connections or resources, using my own ability to make it thrive, only to be fired. My heart felt like it had rolled on ice blades. Cold and painful, my colleagues came out to see me off, speaking words of comfort. Liu Tingting, with tears in her eyes, said, Brother Ming, you're so excellent. You'll find a seat wherever you go. Don't take Wang Ling's words to heart. You'll definitely find a new job. I smiled without a word. Wang Ling doesn't have that power. After leaving the company, I received a call from my aunt, who had been out of contact for 2 weeks. Next week, I'm signing the contract with your company. I'm going to Africa for an inspection, so I can't be there. I said glumly, Aunt, I quit. She paused, having trouble at work. Do you need me to step in? No, I want to go back to the company and be in charge of this project. Hung up the phone. I smiled and curled my lips. Don't rush. The real show has just begun. I appeared at the signing ceremony, surprising my former company people, especially Boss Bai and Wang Ling. Their looks were like knives. Wang Ling looked at me disdainfully. What are you doing here? You've been fired. You have no right to participate in the signing. I glanced at him out of the corner of my eye. Just because I'm not an employee of your company, I can't come. Is it possible that I am from the client side? Tianyu. He sneered. Jiang Chen. What a joke. The president of Tianyu Group is my mother. I am the client. I can fully represent my mother in signing. You, talking big and claiming to be the client, a low-life gigolo like you, isn't even fit to clean the toilets at Tianyu. As soon as he said that, countless eyes turned. So he's the son of President Wang. No wonder he's so dignified. Even dare to offend the son of President Wang. This guy doesn't want to stay in Haikang, does he? He looks like one of those nightclub types. Definitely a kept man. Unlike the son of President Wang, who is handsome. Wang Ling stood in the center like a star surrounded by admirers, listening to the flattery, already floating on air. He looked at me and laughed arrogantly. Ordered the security guards, throw this mongrel out. Proceed with the signing immediately. Several security guards approached me. I calmly took out a seal and held it above my head. Wang Ling, without this, how can you sign? Everyone froze. All eyes focused on my hand. Isn't that President Wang's exclusive crystal seal? I heard this seal is carved from natural Brazilian pink crystal, engraved with Shanzi Lian Wenjiang Di, the exclusive seal of Tianyu Group. It took a famous jade master half a year to make, worth nearly 10 million. It is Wang Nan's exclusive token for important signing occasions. Normally, it's locked in the group's safe, except for her. Even her closest assistant can't touch it. How could it appear in the hands of Jiang Chen? A fired employee. The scene erupted instantly. The guests originally gathered around Wang Ling stepped back half a step. Whispers rose one after another. Even Bai Jiwei, standing beside Wang Ling, frowned, a trace of doubt flickering in his eyes. But at that moment, he was full of the cooperation with Tianyu, unwilling to easily doubt the son of President Wang. Wang Ling's smile froze on his face. His pupils shrank. He stared fixedly at the seal in my hand, his fingers curling unconsciously. His Adam's apple bobbed twice, before he forced himself to stay calm and shouted, "It's fake. John Chen, you resent the company for firing you, so you dared to forge my mother's seal to sabotage the signing. Do you know what crime that is? Forgery of corporate seal. Enough for several years in prison." He deliberately raised his voice, trying to overwhelm everyone's doubts with his bravado. But the slight tremble at the end of his sentence still betrayed his panic. My fingers rubbed the cool crystal seal. A cold smile curled at the corner of my mouth. I took 2 slow steps forward. The seal reflected dazzling light under the lights. The patterns on it were clearly visible. Anyone could see it wasn't a fake. Fake, Wang Ling. You keep claiming to be Wang Nan's son, but you can't even recognize her exclusive seal. That's too hard to believe, isn't it? With that, I lifted my hand and handed the seal to An, old man with white hair beside me. He is a senior figure in Hiking's business circle. He has worked with Wang Nan for many years. He is extremely familiar with Tianyu's various tokens. Elder Zhang, please take a careful look. See if this seal is truly President Wang's authentic one. Elder Zhang took the seal, put on his reading glasses and examined it closely. His fingertips traced the patterns on the seal body. Then he looked at the inscription on the base. After a moment, he raised his eyes. His gaze swept over Wang Ling and Che. He was certain that this was President Wang's genuine seal. That's right. The entwined patterns on the seal body are the master's personal engraving. The inscription on the base uses a special seal script technique. It cannot be faked. Elder Zhang's words were like a huge rock thrown into a calm lake. The murmurs at the scene instantly grew louder. The guests' looks at Wang Ling changed completely, from earlier flattery and ingratiating to scrutiny and suspicion. Some people even started to quietly step back, afraid of getting caught up in trouble. Bai Jiwei's face also darkened. He pulled Wang Ling aside and questioned him in a low voice, demanding to know what was going on. How could he have President Wang's seal? Didn't you say you were President Wang's son? You can't even figure this out. Wang Ling was sweating on his forehead from the questioning. His eyes darted away. He stammered, "I really can't tell. My mom has many seals. How can I recognize them all? This kid must have stolen a fake from somewhere." Elder Zhang is old. It's normal for him to make a mistake. He was putting up a brave front, but inside he was already panicking. He had no idea that Wang Nan had such a seal, let alone having seen the real thing. He had only happened to see Wang Nan in a group photo at the orphanage, and learned that she was the president of Tianyu Group, so he had a wicked idea, using the opportunity when Wang Nan was passing by, to send him to the company for an internship. He took a photo and posted it on Moments, lying that she was his mother. Unexpectedly, he managed to fool everyone all along, and even made the leaders of Hixiang flatter him endlessly. But he never imagined that Zhang Chen would actually produce Wang Nan's personal seal, and have Elder Zhang verify its authenticity on the spot. Suddenly, a crack appeared in his lies. I stepped past the panicked Wang Ling, walked directly to the main stage and picked up the microphone. My clear voice, through the speakers, spread throughout the entire venue, drowning out all the noise. Now I announce, Tianyu Group cancels the signing of the cooperation agreement with Hixiang Company, effective immediately. All business dealings with Hixiang are terminated. As the words fell, the whole venue was so silent you could hear a pin drop. Bai Jiwei snapped out of it and rushed onto the stage, grabbing the microphone. He shouted with a livid face, "Zhang Chen, who do you think you are? How dare you cancel the cooperation on behalf of President Wang? You're just a fired employee of Hixiang, holding a seal of unknown origin, trying to swindle people here. Let me tell you, today I will sign this agreement whether you like it or not." His eyes were red with rage now. The cooperation with Tianyu was Hixiang's most important project this year. If it succeeded, Hixiang's market value could double. How could he stand by and watch Zhang Chen destroy everything? In his view, Zhang Chen was just a cornered dog trying to fight back. Even if the seal was real, it must have been obtained through some shady means. Stolen, he had no right to represent Tianyu. Watching his frantic rage, I said calmly, "Didn't I just tell you? I am the client." Wang Lin also rushed onto the stage. Pointing at my nose, he screamed hysterically, "Zhang Chen, how do you have my mother's seal? Who exactly are you? What gives you the right to make decisions for my mother? Hand over the seal now." His voice was choked with tears, his eyes full of fear and anger. He knew that the appearance of the seal had already made his life shaky. If Zhang Chen continued speaking, everything he had carefully built would vanish into thin air. I stared at him fixedly, word by word. My voice was not loud, but every word was clear. Through the speakers, it struck everyone's heart. Just because he is my own aunt. The venue instantly fell into deathly silence. Everyone held their breath, their eyes shifting between me and Wang Lin in confusion. Full of shock and doubt, he says President Wang is his aunt. Then logically, he should be cousins with Wang Lin. But these two meet with hostility, mutual enmity. They don't look like relatives at all. Instead, they seem like bitter enemies. What's going on? Someone must be lying. Either Zhang Chen is pretending to be President Wang's nephew, or Wang Ling is pretending to be President Wang's son. Nowadays, to climb the social ladder, all kinds of people exist. I just never thought, at such an important signing ceremony, a fake sun drama would explode like this. This is more exciting than all the business scheming. Wang Lin's face instantly turned as white as paper. All color drained from his face. His body swayed. He almost fell off the stage. He grabbed the microphone stand to steady himself. The panic in his eyes could no longer be hidden. But he still forced himself to shout, "Impossible. You're lying. My cousin John Lin has been studying abroad. He's never come back. If he had returned, my mother would have told me. You're a fraud. You were fired from the company." Holding a grudge, deliberately impersonating my cousin to sabotage the signing. Do you think you can get away with this? He could say my childhood nickname, trying to convince everyone that he was really Wang Nan's son, but he didn't know that Zhongling was me. It was just the nickname my family called me since childhood. In public, I've always used the name Zhang Cheng. He had heard from an elderly person at the orphanage that Wang Nan had a nephew named Zhongling, but he had no idea that this nephew was me standing right in front of him. Don't be fooled by him. Wang Lin pointed at me, his voice shrill. He was lazy and didn't do his job. That's why he was fired from our company. This is his retaliation. He's deliberately causing trouble. That seal of his must be fake. He had someone counterfeit it. Security, throw him out. Don't let him spread lies here. He yelled at the security guards. But this time, the security guards stood still, not moving an inch. They exchanged glances. None dared to step forward. Elder Zhang's words still echoed. This seal is genuine. Zhang Chen claimed to be President Wang's nephew. If they actually laid hands on him, if Zhang Chen was telling the truth, they would have offended the young master of Tianyu Group, and would have no place in Haikang. These days, it's better to avoid trouble. Nobody wanted to be the first to act. Seeing the security guards motionless, Bai Jiwei immediately stepped forward to clarify things for the crowd, trying to confirm Wang Ling's identity. Everyone, don't be fooled by Zhang Chen. He's a liar. He's worked at our Hixiang company for over a year, from an ordinary salesperson to a sales manager. If he really were President Wang's nephew, with Tianyu's powerful backing, why would he be willing to work at our Hixiang? Such a small company. He paused, his gaze swept the room. His tone became more certain. Moreover, the Zhang family is also a prestigious clan in Haikang, with assets worth tens of billions. President Wang's nephew is the sole heir of the Zhang family, a person of noble status. How could he be like this man, haggling over a small bonus, even arguing with an intern at a company dinner? He's just a country bumpkin from a village, not some young master of the Zhang family. These people must be actors he hired. He's using the signing ceremony to attach himself to the rich and powerful. Don't be fooled by him. Throw them all out immediately. Don't delay the signing. Bai Jiwei's words seemed plausible, instantly swaying many guests. They nodded in agreement one after another. Their looks at me, again filled with contempt and disdain. Yes, if he really were President Wang's nephew, the heir of the Zhang family, how could he condescend to work at Hixiang and fight over a 40 yuan dish with an intern, tear apart the company over a 500,000 bonus? That's just not how a rich young master behaves. Before I could rebut, a voice of doubt suddenly came from the crowd. The speaker was the president of another group in Haikang, who had business dealings with the Zhang family, and had seen me a few times. But at that time I used the name Zhang Chen, so he didn't recognize me immediately. President Bai. You can't say that. Nowadays many rich second generation like to experience life, starting from the grassroots to prove their own worth, without relying on family connections. Maybe Zhang Chen is such a person. Hearing this, the crowd fell into hesitation again. Yes, there are plenty of low-key rich second gens these days. What if Zhang Chen really is experiencing life? Then we'd be mistaken today. Wang Lin immediately retorted, his tone excited. I'm also experiencing life. I went to your company for an internship. My mother personally took me there, because she was afraid I'd be bullied by some clueless person. If you were really my cousin, why wouldn't my mother have accompanied him to the company, and let him suffer so much injustice? As he said this, he quickly took out his phone and opened his moments, showing the photo of Wang Nan sending him to the internship. To everyone, in the photo, Wang Nan was wearing an exquisite white dress, standing by a Maybach. Wang Ling stood beside her with a sweet smile. The caption read, "Thank you, Mom, for taking time out of your busy schedule to send me to my internship. I will not let you down. My aunt is a public figure in Haikang, the president of Tianyu Group, beautiful and outstanding, known to everyone in Haikang." The crowd immediately recognized the person in the photo. It was indeed Wang Nan. Seeing this photo, the guests who had been hesitant once again believed Wang Ling without a doubt. I told you, how could cousins not recognize each other? Zhang Cheng must be a fake. With the photo as proof, Wang Ling is definitely President Wang's son. Zhang Chen is jealous and deliberately causing trouble. Some young guys nowadays have no shame. To latch onto the rich, they'll do anything, impersonating someone's nephew and forging seals. How shameless. The murmurs rose again. Every word stabbed at me like knives. Wang Lin looked at me smugly, a contemptuous smile curling at the corners of his mouth, as if victory was assured. Zhang Chen, did you hear that? Everyone knows you're a liar. Get out now. Don't dirty Tianyu's floor. A lowlife like you isn't even fit to shine my mother's shoes. And you dare to impersonate my cousin and forge a seal. If you don't leave now, I'll call the police and have you arrested. As soon as he finished, someone immediately chimed in, yes, call the police. We must not let this slide. Let him taste prison food. Otherwise more people will follow suit. Watching this scene, I was almost defeated by their shamelessness. They spread rumors about me, stole my sales champion title, took my bonus, fired me from the company, and now I simply present evidence to expose their lies. Yet they turn around and accuse me, saying I'm the liar, and they want to call the police to arrest me. Is there anything more ridiculous in this world? I almost couldn't understand where Wang Ling got the confidence to impersonate Wang Nan's son in front of all these hacking business elites. Isn't he afraid of being exposed and ruined forever? I looked at Wang Lin expressionlessly, my eyes icy, my tone cold. Wang Lin, are you sure you want to call the police? He looked at me, a contemptuous smile on his face, his chin raised high, like an arrogant victor. What? Scared? Now you're afraid. Why didn't you think of that earlier? Fine, I won't call the police, as long as you kneel down and kowtow to me 100 times right now, and in front of everyone. Publicly admit that you impersonated my cousin and forged the seal. I might consider not calling the police, and let you off this once. He paused, his eyes full of calculation and greed. But you impersonated my cousin and forged my mother's seal, causing huge damage to my mother's and Tianyu Group's reputation. You must compensate me with 1 million yuan in moral damages, not a penny less. I almost laughed in anger. I stared straight at him, the sarcasm in my eyes almost overflowing. Wang Lin, you really have a big mouth. 100 kotaos, and 1 million moral damages. Why don't you just rob a bank? I stepped forward, closing in on him, my eyes like saw scanning his pale face. And, you keep saying you're my aunt's son, but everyone here knows, my aunt Wang Nan has been single for 40 years, never married. The paparazzi in Haiken would love to camp outside the Wang family home every day. If she really had a son as old as you, how could there be no news at all? Do you really think everyone will believe you? My words struck like thunder, clearing away all the fog at the scene, and like opening a floodgate, the place immediately erupted. The guests suddenly realized, and started whispering among themselves. That's right, how did I forget? President Wang is 42 this year, single for 40 years. No one has ever heard of her having a boyfriend, let alone getting married and having a child. How could she suddenly have such a big son? Maybe she secretly married and had a child. President Wang has always been low-key. Maybe she didn't want her husband and son to be bothered by the paparazzi, so she kept it hidden. Impossible. Everyone knows how aggressive Haiking's paparazzi are. Not to mention marriage and having a child. Even if she had dinner with a man, it would be photographed and posted online. If President Wang really had a son, and such a big one, there's no way to hide it. Could he be an illegitimate child? The biological father must be someone of low status. So President Wang never acknowledged him, just raised him in secret. Various speculations buzzed. Wang Lin's face instantly turned deathly pale. Cold sweat trickled down his cheeks. He grabbed the table beside him, his fingers digging into it, his knuckles turning white. He desperately tried to explain. No, that's not true. I'm not my mother's illegitimate son. I am her biological son. Don't listen to his nonsense. He's a liar. He's making up rumors to slander me and my mother. His explanation was weak, his voice trembling. Anyone could see how flustered he was. I smiled, my tone calm, but every word piercing. Then how can you prove that you are my aunt's son? Just by that one photo you staged? Or is it because you know that my aunt went to Africa for an inspection today and won't be here for the signing ceremony? So you dare to impersonate her son without scruples, for your own benefit, and for that despicable company Xiang. My words were like a sharp knife, stabbing deep into Wang Lin's heart. His face grew paler, his lips trembled, his mouth opened, but no sound came out. The panic and fear in his eyes could no longer be hidden. Everyone's gaze turned doubtful and scrutinizing. They all looked at Bai Jiwei. Bai Jiwei also sensed something was off. He pulled Wang Lin aside and lowered his voice, with a hint of anger and doubt. Wang Lin, are you truly President Wang's son? I asked you to invite your mother to the company to discuss cooperation, but you made excuses every time. First you said she was busy, then you said she was on a business trip. Now that Zhang Chen says this, you better explain clearly. Have you been lying to me? Are you not President Wang's son at all? Bai Jiwei's heart had already sunk. The more he thought about it, the more wrong it seemed. Wang Lin had never let him meet Wang Nan. Every time he mentioned Wang Nan, he only showed photos. He wouldn't even give him Wang Nan's phone number. Now that Zhang Chen had said this, he realized he might have been deceived from the very beginning. Wang Lin's expression suddenly froze, his body swayed. He explained frantically. Of course I am President Wang's son. My mother really is very busy. Recently she's been on an inspection trip in Africa, handling the company's overseas business, so she really doesn't have time to meet you. President Ba, I'm not lying to you. You have to believe me. If you don't believe me, I'll show you photos of me as a child. I've been with my mother since I was little. He fumbled with his phone, pulled out a few childhood photos, and showed them to everyone. But these photos were not individual pictures with Wang Nan. Either they were group photos with several people, or large group shots. In the photos, Wang Nan was standing among a group of children. Wang Lin was just one of them. No special relationship could be seen. He pointed at the photos and explained urgently. This was taken when I was little, going with my mother to donate at the orphanage. This one is from when I was 10. My mom took me to a charity gala. And this one is from when I was 15. My mom celebrated my birthday with me. These photos are enough to prove that I am my mother's son, right? Someone in the crowd said quietly. President Wang is indeed enthusiastic about charity. She goes to the orphanage every year to donate, sponsoring many poor children. She has a great reputation in Haikeng, a truly kind-hearted person. That being the case, maybe Wang Lin really is President Wang's son. President Wang is just low-key, doesn't want her son to be exposed to the public, so she rarely takes solo photos with him. These words were like a shot of adrenaline for Wang Lin. He immediately straightened his back, gave me a provocative smile, his eyes full of gloating. Zhang Chen, see that? Everyone believes I am my mother's son. No matter how you argue, it's useless. You can't beat me. Today, I will sign this contract. He turned to Bai Jiwei, his tone urgent. President Bai, what are you waiting for? Let's sign now. Don't let this liar delay our big plan. As he said this, he grabbed Bai Jiwei's hand and tried to pull him toward the signing table, prepared to sign the cooperation agreement without Wang Nan being present. I stopped him coldly, my voice full of unquestionable authority. Wait, I quickly stepped forward, then wanted to walk toward the signing table, preparing to, without Wang Nan's dojo, secretly sign a cooperation agreement. I stopped him coldly, my voice carried an unquestionable authority. Wait, I quickly stepped forward, reach out to block his way, staring at him with icy eyes. Let out a cold laugh. A few group photos with the orphanage kids. That proves you're my aunt's son? Wang Lin, do you take everyone for fools? Since you say you're my aunt's son, daring to act and willing to take responsibility, then why not just call the police? Let the police investigate. Find out whether you're the real young master, or a fake. Clear up whether this seal was actually forged by me. That way everyone can learn the truth, and clear Tianyu Group's name. I took out my phone and was about to dial 110. Wang Ling's face instantly showed panic, crying out urgently, don't call the police. You can't call the police. He reached out to grab my phone. I dodged sideways. I raised an eyebrow at him. A sarcastic smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Why? Aren't you the one who keeps saying you're real? Aren't you calling me a liar? In that case, calling the police to investigate, wouldn't that just prove your innocence? And let me get the punishment I deserve. What are you afraid of? I am not afraid. Wang Lin's eyes darted away, stuttering incoherently. This is the signing ceremony between Tianyu Group and Xiang Company. It's an important occasion in Haiking's business world. With so many people watching, if we call the police, it will attract media attention. It will definitely trend on social media. That would affect Tianyu Group's stock. For Tianyu's benefit, we absolutely cannot call the police. He tried to use Tianyu's interests to cover up his own fear, but his words were full of holes. Everyone present was from the business world. They all knew. If it could truly prove Zhang Chen was a liar, and had forged the seal, and sabotaged the signing, that would actually be a good thing for Tianyu Group. It would not only showcase Tianyu's authority, but also enhance the company's image. It definitely wouldn't affect the stock. I smiled, my face full of mockery. When you wanted to catch me, the liar, you thought of calling the police. Now that we want to verify the identity of you, the fake son, you say for Tianyu's stock, we can't call the police. Wang Lin, do you think the law is made only for you? Is it only the officials who can set fires? And the common people can't even light a lamp? I picked up my phone again, my finger hovering over the dial button, about to press it. Wang Lin was completely panicked. He flew into a rage out of humiliation, and lost his mind. He swung his hand, aiming at my face, shouting, Zhang Chen, you bastard, how dare you oppose me? I'll teach you a lesson. His movement was fast and fierce, full of rage, but since he was used to a life of luxury, he had no real strength. I was already on guard, dodged sideways and grabbed his wrist at the same time, twisted his arm back. A cracking sound was heard. Wang Ling let out a piercing scream. His wrist was twisted into a strange angle by me. I had no intention of letting him off. I raised my arm and fiercely slapped him across the face, with a loud smack. The crisp sound of the slap echoed throughout the venue, drowning out all other noise. Wang Lin spun around from my slap, lost his balance and fell to the ground, clutching his face, stunned on the spot. For a long moment, he didn't react. A clear five-finger mark instantly appeared on his cheek, red and swollen. It bulged conspicuously. Only then did he lift his head, still holding his face. His eyes were full of anger and resentment. Staring fiercely at me, he shouted, Zhang Chen, you damn bastard. I am Wang Nan's son. How dare you hit me? Are you tired of living? My mother will not let you off. Tianyu Group will not let you off. Who did you say you are? I don't remember having a son. A cold and authoritative female voice suddenly came from the entrance, penetrating everyone's eardrums like ice. The scene instantly fell fell silent. Everyone turned their heads to look at the door. The door was slowly pushed open. A group of men in black suits, tall and burly bodyguards, surrounding a woman, walked in gracefully. The woman wore a tailored, black suit dress. Her long hair was tied up, revealing an elegant swan neck. She had delicate, light makeup, exquisite features, a cool and noble temperament, sharp eyes like an eagle. It was my elusive aunt, who had gone to Africa for an inspection, and was supposed to miss the signing ceremony. Wang Nan, behind her, followed several core executives of Tianyu Group, all with serious expressions, exuding a strong presence. As they walked over, they brought in overwhelming pressure, making the guests subconsciously hold their breath, step aside into rows, not daring to breathe loudly. Bai Jiwei, the moment he saw Wang Nan, his face turned deathly pale, his legs went weak, and he almost collapsed. He never expected Wang Nan would suddenly appear at the signing ceremony. Wasn't she supposed to be in Africa? Wang Lin was even more as if seeing a ghost, trembling all over, slowly lowering his hand from his face, his eyes full of fear and despair, muttering to himself, "Mom, why are you back? Weren't you in Africa?" Aunt didn't even glance at him, walked straight through the crowd and stopped in front of me, looked me up and down carefully. The sharpness in her eyes instantly turned into tenderness and concern. She raised her hand, gently touched my cheek, asked softly, "My little prince, did he hurt you? Let Auntie see if anything hurts." Her voice was gentle, full of deep care, a far cry from the cold, authoritative figure just moments ago. If earlier I could still face everything rationally, and hold back the grievance and anger inside me, and deal with Wang Lin and Bai Jiwei, but the moment I saw Aunt, all my strength and pretense collapsed. All the grievances pent up in my heart, the bitterness, anger, and unwillingness, surged up like a bursting dam. My eyes instantly reddened. My nose stung. Tears welled up in my eyes, but I stubbornly refused to let them fall. I shook my head. My voice choked with emotion. "Aunt, I'm fine." Just those 5 simple words, but they carried too much emotion. Seeing my reddened eyes, Aunt's gaze instantly turned cold. She narrowed her eyes and looked around. A stern expression appeared on her face. That long-established authority and killing intent instantly spread out, making the temperature in the room seem to drop several degrees. Who dared to bully my Wang Nan's nephew? Aunt's voice was icy, full of fury, carried through the speakers throughout the venue, piercing everyone's eardrums. Those guests who had doubted me, mocked me, or even insulted me, were now trembling with fear, bowing their heads, not daring to speak, not even daring to look at Aunt. Those who had just been gossiping that I was a fake, a gold digger, now wished they could find a hole to crawl into. They never expected Zhang Chen was truly Wang Nan's own nephew, the sole heir of the Zhang family. Their earlier words were undoubtedly poking a hornet's nest, offending the 2 people in Haikeng you least want to offend. "Investigate," Aunt said coldly, ordering the bodyguards behind her. "Pull up all the surveillance footage from the venue. Everyone who harmed my Wang Nan's nephew, whether by hand or by mouth, find them all. Don't let a single one off. Not even a dirty look, not even a snide remark can be overlooked. I want them to pay 100 times over." These words were like a death sentence from the king of hell, with unquestionable authority, scaring those guests who had spoken ill of me. They were shaking all over, could no longer sit still. One by one, they came forward to bow and apologize to me and Aunt, their attitudes humble to the extreme. "President Wang, I'm sorry. We didn't know young Master Zhang was your own nephew. We only heard Wang Lin say he was your son. That young Master Zhang was a fake. That's why we spoke rudely. We really didn't mean to. Please calm down, President Wang. Please forgive us this once. Young Master Zhang, I'm sorry. We were blind. We judged people by appearances. We were fooled by Wang Lin's lies. We said many offensive things just now. I'm willing to offer 1 million in compensation to apologize. Please be magnanimous. Let us off this time. President Wang, young Master Zhang, we were also trying to protect your son Wang Lin's face. That's why we accidentally offended young Master Zhang. Please consider that we meant well. We were just deceived. Please let us go. We won't dare to do it again." More and more people crowded around, bowing and apologizing to me and Aunt, handing over business cards, promising various compensations. They weren't truly recognizing their mistakes, just intimidated by the power of the Wang and Zhang families. After all, with the Wang family's status in Haikeng, and Tianyu Group's strength, plus the Zhang family's billions in assets, the 2 families together could dominate Haikeng. With just a flick of their fingers, they could make these so-called wealthy clans lose everything, and leave them with no place in Haikeng. How could they dare to offend? Aunt's gaze swept coldly over these people without any sign of emotion. She just said calmly, "Now you know to apologize. When you called my nephew a gold digger, a fake, a country bumpkin from the sticks, why didn't you think of today?" Her words made those apologizing even more embarrassed. Their heads hung lower, not daring to breathe. Aunt's gaze finally landed on Wang Lin, who was slumped on the ground, feeling Aunt's icy stare. Wang Lin trembled uncontrollably. Cold sweat soaked his clothes. He cowered, shrinking his neck, scooting backward, trying to escape Aunt's gaze, but still mustered the courage to weakly call out, "Mom." There was no warmth in Aunt's eyes. She stared straight at him, The disgust and coldness in her eyes almost froze him solid. Her tone was ice cold, devoid of any emotion. Liu Yu, didn't I tell you not to call me mom? Have you forgotten what happened to those people? Liu Yu. Everyone was stunned when they heard that name. Wasn't Wang Lin called Wang Lin? Why did Aunt call him Liu Yu? What was going on? Wang Lin, no. It should be Liu Yu. When he heard Aunt say his real name, all the color drained from his face in an instant. As if struck by lightning, he jerked his head up, his eyes full of shock and fear, lips trembling. No, Mom, President Wang. I just love you too much. I didn't have any other intentions. I just wanted to be a good son to you. Really, Mom, please don't abandon me. As he spoke, he crawled toward Aunt, trying to grab the hem of her clothes. But a bodyguard beside Aunt blocked him with a kick. He fell to the ground. I'll behave, I promise. I won't call you Mom in public anymore. I really didn't know John Chen was my cousin. I know I was wrong. I'll apologize to her right now. Mom, please forgive me. Don't kick me out. I beg you. He knelt on the ground, kowtowing to Aunt repeatedly, his forehead hitting the cold floor. With a thud, thud, thud. Soon, blood appeared, but Aunt's eyes remained icy, without a trace of pity. The exchange between them shocked everyone present. Their eyes went wide, faces full of disbelief. The fearful looks from before quickly turned into curious gossip. Whispers arose again, but this time, the voices were extremely low. So his name isn't Wang Lin. It's Liu Yu. He's not President Wang's son at all. Oh my god, what's going on? Who is he really? Why would he dare to pretend to be President Wang's son? From what President Wang said, he's called her mom before, and she warned him about it. Those who called President Wang mom all ended up badly. Aunt frowned. A murderous intent was already brewing in her eyes. She never bothered to explain herself to such clowns, and had no interest in telling everyone the whole story. She directly ordered the bodyguards behind her, "Take him away. Don't let me see him again. He's dirtying my eyes." Two bodyguards immediately stepped forward, grabbed Liu Yu, who was still on his knees, and began to drag him away. Seeing that Aunt was really going to take him away, Liu Yu panicked completely. He cried out heartbreakingly, "Mom, how can you be so heartless? I'm your son, raised by you from a child. I love you so much. I respect you. You can't abandon your own son for the sake of a nephew. Mom, please don't drive me away. I was wrong. I won't call you Mom anymore. Please don't abandon me." His crying was piercing, and sounded especially harsh in the quiet venue. When those words came out, the whole place erupted in murmurs. All the guests were stunned, faces full of disbelief. Oh my god, what a bombshell. Could Liu Yu really be President Wang's illegitimate son? Is that why she refuses to acknowledge him? So she's been hiding it all along. Even if he's an illegitimate child, he still carries Wang family blood. President Wang won't even let him call her mom. That's too cruel. Yeah, what did the child do wrong? He can't choose his parents. President Wang doing this is really unmotherly. She shows no familial affection. Maybe the illegitimate child's father did something to betray President Wang. So she takes it out on the child, refuses to acknowledge him. But even so, the child is innocent. President Wang treating him like this is too cruel. All kinds of speculation were flying around. Everyone had their own theories. Aunt was quickly labeled as cold-blooded and heartless, but Aunt remained expressionless, as if she hadn't heard any of the gossip. I looked at Liu Yu, kneeling and crying, then at Aunt, whose face was grim. I know Aunt always had a tough exterior but a soft heart, and didn't want to explain these old matters in public. I walked up to Liu Yu, leaned down and stared at him, my eyes cold. Spoke word by word. My voice carried through the speakers across the venue. To clear Aunt's name, Wang Lin no. Liu Yu, drop the act. My aunt doesn't explain, but that doesn't mean I don't know. Today, on behalf of my aunt, I'm going to make everything clear. Let everyone see what kind of person you really are. Hearing my words, Liu Yu's crying stopped abruptly. He looked up, his face covered in blood, his eyes full of shock and panic, which then turned into despair. I stared at him, my gaze piercing, every word clear. You, Liu Yu, are not my aunt's son at all, nor are you some illegitimate child. You are simply one of the many orphans that my aunt has sponsored. As soon as these words were said, the whole venue fell into dead silence again. Everyone's eyes widened, faces full of disbelief. My aunt is passionate about charity work. She sponsored more than a dozen orphans from Haikang Orphanage. You were one of them. You grew up in that orphanage. You went to school thanks to my aunt's sponsorship. When you were kids, all of you sponsored children. Thought my aunt was gentle and kind, like a mother, so you all liked to call her mama. My aunt didn't refuse. She just treated you all like her own children. I paused. My gaze swept over Liu Yu's pale face, then continued, but unexpectedly, when you grew up, a few boys harbored vile intentions, using the excuse that they called my aunt mom as children. They publicly claimed to be my aunt's illegitimate sons. They wanted to leverage my aunt's status to climb the social ladder. They even did things that harmed my aunt's reputation. That caused several of my aunt's matchmaking attempts to fall through. Her marriage life has been troubled. My aunt couldn't take it anymore, so she had to issue a statement, proving she was single and childless, and had never had an illegitimate child. Those boys who deliberately spread rumors received the legal punishment they deserved. They were sent to detention. My aunt also made it clear that from then on, none of the children she sponsored were allowed to call her mom, to avoid causing any more unnecessary trouble. And you, after those people were punished, you pretended to be innocent and pitiful, helpless and pathetic. You cried in front of my aunt, saying you never had those dirty thoughts, that you only truly saw my aunt as a mother. My aunt's heart softened. She pitied you for being orphaned, so she didn't hold you accountable. She even wrote a letter of recommendation and got you an internship at his young company. That day, she went to discuss a partnership and took you along. Who would have thought you would use that photo to publicly claim you were my aunt's son? You swindled and deceived. Not only did you throw your weight around at the company, bullying colleagues, but you also stole my sales championship, took my bonus, and even at this signing ceremony, you impersonated my aunt's son to collude with his young company, trying to cheat Tianyu out of cooperation resources. Tell me, don't you deserve to be punished? My words were like thunderclaps, exploding at the scene. Everyone suddenly understood. Their looks at Liu Yu instantly changed from sympathy to contempt and disgust. So this seemingly pitiful President Wang's son was actually an ungrateful snake, raised by President Wang's sponsorship. Not only did he lack gratitude, he even used President Wang's identity to swindle, damaging her reputation. Such a person is unforgivable. Those guests who had called Aunt cold-blooded were now utterly ashamed, not daring to say another word. Their hearts filled only with guilt toward Aunt and anger at Liu Yu. Liu Yu's face grew paler and paler, finally turning ashen. He slumped on the ground, trembling weakly, convulsing, lips trembling, voice shaking uncontrollably. I didn't. He tried to argue again, but the facts were right in front of him. He had no way to refute. I smiled contemptuously. You didn't. Then tell me, why don't you dare to let Bai Kibai meet my aunt? Why have you been making excuses all along? Why, when you saw me take out my aunt's seal, were you so flustered? Why did you try so hard to stop me from calling the police? Liu Yu, the things you've done are all laid out clearly, and you still want to deny it. I truly treat President Wang as a mother. I've admired her since I was a child. I'm not lying. Mom, no, President Wang, please believe me. I really want to be your son. Dave was still making his final struggle, his eyes full of pleading, looking at Aunt. Aunt glared at him with disgust. The coldness in her eyes almost froze him. Her voice was stern, filled with deep disappointment. If Linlin hadn't called me, telling me you were flaunting the title of being Wang Nan's son, bullying her arrogantly outside, I would have remained in the dark, thinking you were a child who knew gratitude. Liu Yu, in my life, I am Wang Nan. Hate nothing more than ingratitude, and repaying kindness with enmity. I supported you, paid for your education, found you a job, not so you could use my identity to swindle and bully my family. If you were truly weak and helpless, the Wang family wouldn't begrudge you a meal. I would even let you stand on my shoulders to fulfill your dreams, but you dared to bully my most beloved nephew. Your actions have disappointed me deeply. Your behavior has seriously damaged my reputation and tarnished the image of Tianyu Group. I will no longer consider our past relationship. I will sue you, charge you with defamation, impersonation, business fraud. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. Aunt's words completely shattered Yu Yu's last hope. He collapsed to the ground, his face ashen, his eyes vacant. Gone was his previous arrogance and smugness. Only endless despair remained. He knew he was completely finished. With Wang Nan's resources, if she sued him, he would never be able to turn his life around. Suddenly, as if remembering something, Liu Yu lunged to my feet, hugging my legs and sobbing, "Young Master John. Young Master John Lin. I was wrong. I was truly wrong. Please, be magnanimous. Forgive me this one time. I don't want to go to jail. Let me off. I won't dare do it again. I'm still young. If I have a criminal record, my life is over. I'll kowtow to you. I apologize to you. Please spare me. Let me go like letting out a fart." As he spoke, he kept kowtowing to me. Blood from his forehead smeared on my pants. Looking especially disgusting, I watched his groveling, my face expressionless, with not a trace of pity in my eyes. Yu, don't use your youth as an excuse for your mistakes. In this world, everyone must pay for their own mistakes. You are no exception. You, relying on the false identity of my aunt's son, abused your power at Hixian Company, ordered colleagues around like servants, poured scalding hot coffee on the new employee, Lin Shi, burned his scalp with blisters, and threatened him not to apologize, or else you'd have been fired. You stole my sales champion title, took my 500,000 yuan bonus, got me fired from the company, even slandered me in front of the entire company, saying I got results with my face, that I'm a gigolo. You also humiliated me publicly at the signing ceremony, had the security guards throw me out, even tried to hit me. When you did all those things, did you ever think this day would come? How arrogant you were back then. How smug. You thought with my aunt as your backing, You could do whatever you wanted, bully others at will. You thought since I had no background or support, you could push me around, but you forgot. Heaven's justice has its cycles. No one escapes the heavens. All the wrongs you've done will eventually be repaid. My words struck home, each one piercing. Yu's body froze. His hands slowly loosened from my leg, lips trembling. He couldn't utter another word. Only endless regret and despair remained in his eyes. The bodyguard stepped forward to prop up the limp Yu, dragged him out. Yu didn't cry out, nor beg. He just went like a puppet. As the guards dragged him out of the venue, awaiting him would be the law's severe punishment. Having dealt with Yu, I turned to look at Bai Jiwei, standing nearby with a pale face, trembling all over, my eyes cooled. President Bai, word by word. Now it's your turn. Bai Jiwei's whole body stiffened, as if struck by lightning. His face turned ashen. He looked at me, lips quivering, unable to say a word for a long time. Cold sweat ran down his face, soaking his shirt. In a trembling voice, he tried one last struggle. Young Master Zhang. Look, this is all a misunderstanding. I was also deceived by that Wang Lin, Yu. I had no idea he wasn't your aunt's son. If I had known, even with 100 times the courage, I wouldn't dare offend you. After all, we worked together for a year. You know me, I've always thought highly of you. I was only thinking about the company's future development. I was momentarily foolish, and believed Yu's lies. I watched his obsequious manner, recalling what he had done before. I curled my lips in a cold, mocking smile. Appreciation. President Bai, your appreciation truly overwhelms me. His face was covered in sweat, flustered and panicked. Then you. I was all bewitched by that loser Wang Lin. Bewitched. I never really meant to make things hard for you. You know, at that time, we all thought he was President Wang's son. We didn't dare to offend him. If you had said back then that you were President Wang's nephew, and that he was fake, I would definitely have kicked him out of the company. I stared at him and asked, if I had said it, would you have believed me? His lips twitched, unable to speak. President Bai, I asked you to state clearly in front of everyone. Am I, Jiang Chen, worthy of the title sales champion or not? Am I worth the 500,000 yuan bonus or not? He almost immediately admitted. Young Master Jiang has worked in the company for a year. He has been outstanding. The sales champion is well deserved, not just a 500,000 bonus. Even 5 million couldn't fully prove young Master Jiang's excellence. He looked at me with a flattering smile. Jiang Chen, now that things are clarified, we are both victims. Anyway, your resignation process hasn't been completed yet, so it doesn't count as resignation. Come back to work. I'll give you the position of sales director. The sales champion is yours. I'll give you that 500,000 right now. Talk to President Wang. Let's sign the contract. As he spoke, he actually transferred the 500,000 to me. I almost wanted to throw up from disgust. Even in this situation, he still thinks about cooperating with Tianyu. I really wonder what his face is made of. I looked him straight in the eye and asked, President Bai, you don't think I canceled the cooperation with you just because I was hung up on that 500,000? He hesitated and said weakly, isn't that right? Before I could speak, my aunt interjected. Of course not. Linlin holds 20% of Tianyu Group shares. Her annual dividends are hundreds of millions. Tianyu's tens of billions of assets will all belong to her only son. 500,000. That's more than 10 times his monthly allowance. Would he care about your 50,000? No, 500,000. Bai Jiwei's face instantly turned red. He regretted so much he wanted to slap himself. How could he have missed such a moneymaker? I looked at him with a mocking smile. President Bai, back then, I gave up going to my aunt's company and chose your company. My goal was to train myself. I could have gone straight to being the boss in my own company after my internship, but I couldn't bear to leave the business I had built step by step. I also didn't want to abandon a leader who once saw potential in me. But President Bai, what Wang Lin did, opened my eyes to who you really are, and to what the company is. You are not worthy of my working for you, and certainly not worthy of being Tianyu's partner. A company that harms employees for profit will forever be eliminated by the market. Also, I said as I accepted the 500,000 in front of him, I don't care about the bonus. This is what I deserve. What I want is fairness. Having said that, I looked at my aunt and smiled lightly. Aunt, your turn. My aunt gave me a knowing smile, picked up the phone and said only one sentence. Completely blacklist Hixion. Remember, leave them in tatters. Bai Jiwei didn't have time to digest the meaning of my aunt's words before the phone rang one after another. President Bai, disaster. Client that cancelled the cooperation. President Bai, Client B is filing a complaint, demanding nearly 100 million in compensation. President Bai, the company's stock has hit the daily limit down. Bai Jiwei stood frozen, his face turning from white to green, then to black, and finally a dead gray. He murmured to himself, it's over, over, all over. Yu, using the title of President Wang's son, had amassed a lot of ill-gotten gains outside. All the money was squandered by him. He was sentenced to 10 years for fraud. He could have had a bright future, but he destroyed it with his own hands. I paid no attention to their self-inflicted doom. I was about to start a new chapter, to embrace a broader future. One wants to start a new chapter, to embrace a broader future.